Hey YouTube, Carl the Prepper here. So this is all my winter gear. This is what I plan on toting out into the apocalypse when I should bug out. If you're bugging out, obviously you got to prepare for the winter months, for the cold. But people don't think about it as much, but if you're bugging in, you really have to think just as much about protection from the cold. You can't rely on the central heat in your house. You can't rely on your hot water heater, your heater, things like that. You can't rely on it. After 48 hours with no central heat in your house running, your house will be just as cold inside as it is outside. If it's 0 degrees outside, it will be 0 degrees inside after 48 hours. When they had the cold storm, snowstorm in Texas that wiped out the power there, people had icicles drooping down from their ceilings indoors. It can get really, really cold inside after 48 hours with no heat. Now if you're bugging out in summer, you need all your winter gear. Fall is always on the heels of summer, and you don't know how long you're going to have to maintain in the wilderness. If you don't have a tent, you have to build a shelter. This will protect you from wind, rain, and snow. If you're in the city, it's easy enough to find an overhang to protect you. Freeway bridges will protect you from snow, rain. A lot of buildings have overhangs that'll protect you. They're not very hard to find in the city. In the wilderness, it's a different story. They're a little bit harder to find in the wilderness. Now, a cave is ideal. A cave can shield you from rain, snow, and wind. And if you build a fire in it, you can build a fire in cave safely. If you build a fire in it, the cave walls will radiate heat all night long. Just don't enter too far into the cave. And definitely avoid any tight enclosures. Even if you have a light, you shouldn't explore very deeply into the cave. Just stay around the cave mouth. Even if you have a light, it's easy to get turned around and lose your way back out and never find your way out of the cave again. Stay around the cave mouth. Don't go deeply into the cave. Also, check the region around the cave mouth for hibernating bears, since they can be a danger. The same goes for abandoned mines. Don't enter too far into an abandoned mine. Stay around the mouth. There are going to be all kinds of drop-offs and pits and things like that you just fall straight down into, mine shafts and things like that. Avoid going very deep into an abandoned mine as well. Study shelter construction on YouTube. The main gear you need to build a shelter is cord, carabiners, a tarp, and a cutting tool like a saw or a knife. I refer you to the many shelter building videos on YouTube. When you're leaving camp to forage, fish, or explore, pack everything with you. If you leave your gear in an established camp, it can easily be stolen. You're not the only one wandering the wilderness if it's an SHTF world. Someone coming across your camp while you're gone won't believe his luck. Also, it's easy to get turned around in the wilderness and forget the way back to your camp. If you carry everything with you, you can merely establish a new camp if you lose track of the old one. If you're in the mountains, which is where I plan to go, you should follow established roads, trails, or brooks. Anywhere else is very difficult to navigate. Try not to be on the move at night unless completely necessary. You will easily lose your way and may fall off a cliff. Now, I believe it's a mistake to remain in the city in a worst case scenario disaster. If you're bugging in, the situation outside your house will worsen with every day. If it's a worst case scenario disaster, the cities will likely end up rife with roving bands of marauders and cannibals. If you have preps in your house, you have a giant bullseye painted on your forehead. By the time you decide to flee, the situation will be so bad as to be impossible. The survivors of the apocalypse will mostly be found in the small towns, the rural places, and the wilderness. If you're bugging out, one thing you don't need is toilet paper. I see people recommend toilet paper all the time. I've used rocks to wipe my ass while camping in Mexico. You get a handful of grass, a handful of mud or clay. That's all you need. You don't need any toilet paper. If you're bugging in, it's harder to get things to wipe your ass with that you can just throw aside. You can't really wipe your ass with grass and mud and clay inside. So you do need toilet paper if you're bugging in. But if you're bugging out, you really don't need it. So now this is the clothing. Again, no matter the season, you need your cold weather clothing. Here in Colorado, merely a coat and a blanket are not enough. I have all these things. These gloves. You can see how durable these gloves are. I have this knit cap that I carry in my pocket. I have this ski mask. I have this coat. I have this coat under it. I have this fleece. I have this t-shirt and long johns number 1. 2 sets of long johns number 1 and number 2. Not only that, for bedding, I have this tarp and this blanket. Now, if I'm caught in a major snowstorm, this may not be enough. I will have to either construct a shelter or find a workable shelter like a cave or an abandoned mine. When I was homeless in Colorado in the wintertime, I was homeless in summer and winter. The tarp made all the difference in the world. These are airtight and watertight, and they just trap the heat around you. If I ever went to bed with just my sleeping bag and didn't use the tarp, didn't break it out, I was chilled to my bones. But if I went to bed with this tarp on, I was okay. It got down to 15 below zero for a couple of nights, and I was very uncomfortable. I had a lot of pain in my feet, but I made it through okay. These tarps are airtight and watertight and really trap a lot of heat all around you. Even with all this stuff, if I'm caught in a storm, it may not be enough. If it's a snowstorm, you really need a shelter. Now the thing about rainstorms here in Colorado is you get a lot of heavy rainstorms in the afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There's a lot of heavy downpours with a lot of hail and things like that. If it's raining in the middle of the night, it's just a funny thing about the weather here. If it's raining in the middle of the night, it's a light rain. It's almost always a light rain if it's raining in the middle of the night here in Colorado. The same does not go for snow. There can be a major blizzard, and it can be 12 o'clock at night when it first hits. And if you haven't planned ahead and gotten a shelter together, you would be in a lot of trouble. Because a major snowstorm can come at any time of day or night. So you need to plan ahead in the wintertime. If it's the summertime and you're out all night, the rain is luckily not going to be so bad. You'll just be able to crawl under your bedding and be just fine. Like I said, there's very rarely a strong thunderstorm in the middle of the night here. If it's a snowstorm, it's a different story. You need to plan ahead and get your shelter together before the snow hits. Otherwise, you're going to be scrambling to make a shelter in the middle of the night, in the darkness, with all confusion, things like that. It'd be a real disaster. Anyway, that about wraps up this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.